Hey everybody, this is Nancy Norbeck and I am here with this week's Creative Pep Talk. This week I want to talk about something that frankly I'm kind of surprised that I don't think we've talked about before, and that is limitations. And I don't mean boundaries here, I mean limitations in the sense of constraints. These are things that kind of tend to fall in the same category as structure. It's the sort of thing that a lot of creative people really bristle at the idea of. I don't want to be limited. I want to be free to do whatever I want. And that's understandable. I get it. Believe me, I do, because I'm one of those people who bristles against it. But the fact is that when you have too broad a canvas, literal or metaphorical, it can be really daunting. It can be hard to figure out what the heck you want to do because the possibilities are too endless. For me, I also experience this issue if somebody says to me, what do you want to have for dinner? Where do you want to go to eat? And there are too many things to pick from. Whereas if someone says, would you rather have Mexican or Chinese? I can make that decision really easily. It's the same phenomenon. It's just now we're applying it to creative work. So for instance, if you know that you need to write something and it has to fit in a certain number of words, it has to be on a certain topic, and it has to include, say, a teddy bear, you have now certain parameters to work within. So you're not sitting here trying to figure out, I have the entire universe of possibilities to choose from. What the heck am I going to do? See how that works? You are focused now on those three things. And so you can pick something and work really well within it. Sometimes people choose to do this as a challenge. For instance, the Oulipo movement that started in France about 60 some years ago and is apparently still going strong is the example that everyone turns to in this particular case. And one of the most famous products of that movement is the 300-page novel that was written without using the letter E. And I believe that that is also the case for the English translation, which is really hard because the letter E is the most commonly used letter in the English language. So when you set yourself that kind of a challenge, then you really have to rise to the occasion and you really have to get creative about how you're going to do it. It's a test, but it can also produce some really interesting results. One episode of the podcast that you might want to check out where we talked about this is my interview with Nick Morrison a couple years ago. I'll include the link to that in the show notes so that it's easy for you to find. But if you haven't ever played with limitations or constraints, I really suggest you give it a try. It may sound horrifying to you, but do it as an experiment. See what happens. It's kind of like the writing prompts that your teacher may have given you in high school, or your painting prompts, or whatever field you're in. It can be really useful, especially if you're stuck, to give yourself a limitation to work within, because ironically, it can really free you up. So I hope you give it a try. If you do, let me know how it goes. And with that, I'll see you next time.